Ever been in love?
No, not really.
Ah?
I think it was more a feeling of pity.
The plot thickens. Tell me about it.
It's a ridiculous story. I hardly knew the man. It was something I built up in my own mind. It was after I came out of the hospital. I took a job at Sardu's, a stationery shop. He was one of the customers, a young American. He used to buy music paper in large and small amounts according to his finances. He seemed so lonely, so helpless and shy. There was something pathetic about him. I'd never have noticed him, but someone tried to elbow in ahead of him. When I ignored the other man's rudeness, he smiled his gratitude. The old charwoman who worked where he lived told me that his name was Mr. Neville, a composer, and that he occupied the top room. There were days when I knew he went without food to buy music paper. I could see it in his eyes, the haggard look. Sometimes I'd throw in a few extra sheets, and once I gave him more than his proper change, which he might have noticed, but I wasn't sure. Often of an evening after work, I'd stroll by his house and hear him playing the piano, repeating musical passages over and over again. And I'd stand listening, excited and melancholy.
Well, what then?
Oh, yes. Well, then for weeks I never saw him. From the charwoman I learned that he was ill and that creditors had taken away his piano. Eventually he came into the shop, looking very pale, and asked for 2 shillings worth of large orchestral sheets, placing a 2-shilling piece on the counter. I knew it was his last. If I could only help him, if I only dared, I could lend him money. I wanted to tell him so. But I was also shy. Nevertheless, I was determined to help. So after giving him a number of extra sheets, and as he was about to leave, I called him back. "You've forgotten your change." "There must be a mistake," he said. "Not at all," I answered. "You gave me half a crown, and here's your 6pence change." Then I realized I'd created a ridiculous situation. To make matters worse, in came Mr. Sardu from his office. "Can I be of any assistance?" he asked. "It isn't necessary," I said quickly. "The gentleman gave me half a crown and forgot his change." However, Mr. Sardu made him take it. But as soon as the young man left, Mr. Sardu went through the till, and finding no half-crown there, became suspicious. Then the discrepancy was discovered, and I was discharged.
What did you do then?
I tried to get back to dancing. That's when I collapsed with rheumatic fever.
Did you ever see this young composer again?
Yes. 5 months later, after I came out of the hospital. I saw him from the gallery of the Albert Hall. His symphony was played there. It was a great success.
Of course you're in love with him.
I don't even know him.
You will. Life is a local affair. I can see it happening. You'll be at the height of your success, and he'll call on you and tell you that he met you at the Duchess of Who's supper party.
Won't I recognize him?
Oh, no. He's grown a beard. Musicians do. He'll tell you he's composed a ballet for you. Then you'll realize who he is. You'll tell him who you are and how you met and how you waited on him and gave him extra music sheets. And that night, you'll dine together on a balcony overlooking the Thames. It'll be summer, and you'll be wearing pink muslin, and he'll be conscious of its fragrance, and all London will be dreamy and beautiful. And in the elegant melancholy of twilight, as the candles flutter and make your eyes dance, he will tell you that he loves you, and you will tell him you have always loved him. Where am I? Yes, life can be wonderful if you're not afraid of it. All it needs is courage, imagination, and a little dough. Now, what's the matter?
I'll never dance again. I'm a cripple.
Pure hysteria. You've made yourself believe that.
It isn't true.
It is, otherwise you'd fight.
What is there to fight for?
Ah, you see. You admit it. What is there to fight for? Everything. Life itself, isn't that enough? To be lived, suffered, enjoyed. What is there to fight for? Life is a beautiful, magnificent thing. Even to a jellyfish. What is there to fight for? Besides, you have your art, your dancing.
I can't dance without legs.
I know a man without arms who can play a scherzo on a violin and does it all with his toes. The trouble is you won't fight. You've given in, continually dwelling on sickness and death. But there's something just as inevitable as death, and that's life. Life, life, life. Think of the power that's in the universe, moving the earth, growing the trees, and that's the same power within you, if you'll only have courage and the will to use it. Good night.